Recording? I think it's recording.
I
What
think
up,
so.
world? Yeah, I think so. What up, world? It's your boy Jay Winks in the building. This is Cooking with Winks, episode 2. Got my beautiful sister-in-law Gina. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, so we just doing something different on this Monday afternoon. Is it nice up there or is it cold?
Oh man, it's cold.
Yeah,
It's like
there.
it was nice this morning, but it's cold now.
Right. Yeah, I feel it. So going on with the show today, just a couple of questions wanted to ask you about why you wanted to be a chef.
So,
Mom made a lot of casseroles.
right. My mom made a lot of casseroles growing up. And well, I mean, those of you who don't know, we came from a restaurant family, so it was kind of something that was always it wasn't that it was like my destiny per se. It's just kind of what I thought I was supposed to do. And I was good at it. I was the kind of kid that only really liked to do things that they were really good at for fear of failure, and it was the one thing that I was really good at. So that's kind of what I started out at. Like at first, after high school, I went to school to be a nutritionist, and I knew immediately that wasn't going to work. I had no interest in it whatsoever. And I went just because my mom wanted me to go to college. I'm sure my dad wanted me to go to like traditional college also.
Right.
And I used to, don't kill me, mom, if you watch this, but I used to skip class specifically just to watch the show that they had on TV. We're talking to 1999. And they would go to different countries and they would interview the regional chefs and they would make their specialty dish. And I would just skip my classes that I didn't want to go to and just watch that all day long. So I think it's fascinating to watch people cook. I think it's fascinating that every culture has a certain way of cooking. I think it's fascinating that there can be, for instance, cilantro. Cilantro is not just a Mexican herb. lots of
Right.
asian Lots of Asian cuisine is, they use cilantro. I think that's fascinating that we have one plant and it's used throughout all different types of cooking. Garlic is pretty much used in all different kinds of cooking. It's not just Italian food. It's in Mexican food. It's in, well, I should say Latin food because it's in all Latin food. It's in Asian food. And I always found that like fascinating that the same ingredient can be used in so many different ways in so many different cultures. And so that's where I knew when I was skipping class to watch these different shows on TV that I should probably just go to culinary school because that's where my heart was.
Now, like for a little backstory, now what was your family's restaurant if people don't know?
El Rancho Grande, the original one.
Side note, her cooking career started in the summers when we would be left alone and she would bust out the Betty Crocker cookbook for just no reason other than boredom.
Boredom. And that's right. Teresa's right. Sometimes my mom was very regimented. She was regimented for us and she had a schedule written out from like not 8 o'clock in the morning all the way until the afternoon. And we were, a lot of times we were just bored on days that it would rain and we would normally go to the pool. A lot of times we had nothing to do. So why not make, Teresa was good at popovers for some reason. She
Hmm.
was fantastic at popovers. And we would just try things out. My mom had this old school electric skillet. And I remember I thought to myself, I'm going to make some fried chicken. I'm going to make some fried chicken. I love fried chicken. I don't eat it ever. Number one, I'll never make it at my house because it's too messy. And number two, I can't just stop at one piece, but I freaking love fried chicken. And I was going to make fried chicken and it was miserable. It turned out so bad. It turned out so bad. So there's something inside of me that's always wanted to try something and then perfect what I've done. And now I can make a
Mashed
mean fried
potatoes
chicken.
were your struggle bus when you were little.
Gravy. I was always good at the mashed potatoes. The
Oh,
gravy was the
great.
struggle bus. Yeah. Mashed potatoes. I get really mad about when people use instant mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are so easy to make. It was always the gravy for me that was a struggle bus, but I've nailed the gravy. I've nailed the mashed potatoes, and I've definitely nailed the chicken. But we would just try different things. And I will say, I give a ton of credit to my mom because she really didn't care. She'd come home and there'd be food and we'd eat. She honestly did not care that we were in the kitchen messing stuff up as long as we cleaned up after ourselves. I think we made donuts one time.
Yeah.
Oh
Mm.
my God, that was a hot mess too. There was
And we also have mashed potato pie.
mashed potato fights, but
Yeah.
that's a side note. Those were instant mashed potatoes, and that was just after school shenanigans.
Oh,
But
good stories.
like I said, I give a lot of credit to my mom. She pretty much let us just go in and make whatever. I do remember, I think the first real memory that I have about cooking and thinking, wow, I'm actually kind of good at this, is we were living on Gashi Street. So that had to have been, I don't know, before like 12. Yeah, before 12. So I would say like 10 or 11. But we were hungry and I just threw some stuff together and it was really, really good. I think there was like some smoked sausage in there, and I just put stuff in it that I thought would taste good, and everyone loved it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm kind of good at this. And I think from there on, and my mom would always try some crazy recipes that rarely
Matzo
turned
ball
out.
soup.
Matzo
Matzo
ball
ball
soup.
soup was like, I'm not saying matzo ball soup in itself is horrible. I'm sure there are plenty of people that can make some badass matzo ball soup, but Susan's was not good. And she would always try and attempt Chinese food, and it was just terrible. So I always kind of wanted, because of that, I wanted to learn how to do it and how to do it right and how to make it taste good.
Right. So where did you go to college? I mean, you got to go to school for it, and a lot of people don't know that it's like a hard process to do.
It is a hard process to do. Now, I am a firm believer that you do not have to go to culinary school to be a chef. I, I don't believe it. There are plenty of people who did not go to school to be a chef. Culinary school gets you in the door. It gives you opportunities. Culinary school does not teach you how to cook. Culinary school does not teach you the discipline that you need to become a good chef.
Mm.
Culinary school gives you the skill that, well, they'll teach you your basic skill sets, but they don't teach you the things that you really need to succeed in this field. Culinary school, I went to Pennsylvania Culinary. I went in, I believe it was, God,
We're old.
2000. It was in 2000. Yeah, 2000. I went to culinary school at Pennsylvania Culinary. After a year at Kent State, like I said earlier, I went to Kent State for a year to be a dietitian, and that just wasn't going to work out. So yeah, the deal was that if I was going to go to culinary school, that I had to pay for it myself, because my mom really didn't want me to go at all. She wanted me to finish Kent State. So yeah, that was 2000, yeah, from 2000 until, it's technically a 2-year program, but you go year round.
Mm.
So you go from like
I
2000 to
spring break
2001.
my senior
Yeah.
year. And
Yeah, Teresa Kane, those were some wild times too, let me tell you. But 2000 to 2001 with an externship at the end. So the way culinary school is set up is you start off with your basics. And then as you graduate on, it's like you're no longer a freshman in regular college, you're like a sophomore in regular college. So you go through cycles and you start off with your basics in like vegetable cooking and how to make different sauces, because making different sauces is the basis of cooking. If you can make a sauce, if you can make a classic bechamel sauce, you can
Never
make
heard
mac
of
and
that.
cheese. Well, you can make mac and cheese like that. If you can make a classic velouté, you can make gravy like that. And they also taught you a classic red sauce. They call it marinara sauce. But after you learn how to make that classic marinara sauce, you can build off of all of those sauces and make other sauces. So you always start out with, they call it starches and sauces, then vegetable cookery, where you get like the technique for sauteing and what it means to saute and what it means to, like, I don't know, julienne a vegetable. You need your basics that you need to learn, and then you build from those. And then eventually, once you graduate on until you go to like poultry, and then you go to beef, and then you go to seafood, and then as you get further along in the program, the food gets more expensive, put it that way.
Right.
So you start off with zucchini and how you cook zucchini and how you can cut zucchini all uniform and make it look beautiful. And then you end up at international, where you learn all the different, well, I can't even say all of them because there's so many different types of cooking, so many different ethnic cookings, techniques and everything. So you end in international, and then you go take an externship. And I took my externship in Naples, Florida at a golf club called Quail Creek. Yeah, no. I took an externship at a golf club in Naples, Florida. I lived there. And it was a good experience. I don't think that I was, well, first of all, they pay you very, very little. I think I made like $8 an hour, and I had to pay for rent and utilities and food. And I had a junker of a car, which don't even get me started on that car. So my car broke down. I had no money to fix the car. I couldn't really get to work all the time. My health started to go because I was a nervous wreck all the time. But I did learn a lot of valuable information as far as how you are supposed to behave online when cooking. And when I mean online, I mean like the range, like there's certain positions in line. There's a fry cook, there's a saute cook, there's a grill cook, and there's a certain way that you're supposed to behave. And it is not like how it was at my grandma's restaurant, put it that way.
Oh, that's funny right there. Now, what's your favorite dinner to cook, and what's one of your favorite chefs?
So one of my favorite things to cook, that's a really hard one to say. And it almost goes through seasonally. Like
So
right
what would you
now,
like right now? Like right now, let's just say that.
okay. So right now, it's funny because we were just talking about casseroles and how much I hate them. But last week I made the best shepherd's pie. It was so good.
Mm.
And so like, right now I like the potatoes, and well, not really that many potatoes because we all have to watch our carbs, but like right now I like more wintry foods. But in the summertime I love like grilled. Now if I really want to um go all out, my all-time favorite to cook are scallops, because my Brent's leaving. Hi Brent.
Bye, Brent.
Bye.
Love you. Yeah. My all-time favorite thing to cook are scallops. There's a certain, if they are so easy to ruin, and that's how you can really tell the mark of a good chef, is if they cook a scallop correctly.
Did not know that.
Yeah, they are so easy to overcook. There's a fine line between raw and cooked perfectly. So my all-time favorite are scallops. But in fact, I think one of the first things I cooked for Brent was, I think it had scallops and shrimp in it.
Mm.
Hook, line, and sinker. That's what did
Thing
it.
I cooked for him was shrimp.
Yeah.
Manicotti and shrimp.
Manicotti.
Manicotti and shrimp. First thing I
There you
got.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
So
before,
yeah, my favorite chef, hands down, for so many reasons other than his cooking ability, is Anthony Bourdain.
I thought you
Rest
were gonna say that.
rest in peace. He embodies everything that a true chef is. It's not glamorous. I think that television and movies have really over glamorized the field. It's not glamorous whatsoever. It's not, they're long, hard hours. It's not Ratatouille. It's not No Reservations. It's everything that he's ever written about a kitchen is 100% true. It's a life. And to sound, not to make more of it than it actually is, it's a lifestyle. It truly is. You give up a lot. You give up a lot of time. You give up a lot of relationships. It's a life. The way, if you've been in this business for over, I don't know, 5 years, the way you process things, the way you think about things are completely different than the way other people think about things. And I'll give you an example. It comes down to this. At work now, when I answer the phone and I take orders, some people will give me orders and they'll say, I want one of this, I want one of this, and I want one of this, and they're all the same thing. Instead of telling me you want 3 of an Italiano, they'll order it all separately. And those are like the little things. And that's a small example of how we think differently than the normal everyday person.
Right.
But we're
Somebody orders a pizza and they say, I would like 1/2 pepperoni, mushroom, and sausage, the other half pepperoni, mushroom, and onion.
right.
So we're
Exactly.
like, you mean the whole pizza, pepperoni and mushroom, 1/2 sausage, 1/2 mushroom?
Exactly. The way everyday normal people who, I don't know, work in an office don't necessarily think about things my brain doesn't work the way that their brain works. And I don't know if I've always been like that, probably, but I think a lot of it has to do with, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm very like quick to react, which is not great all the time, believe me, but I have to be quick to react at my job. I am not great at deciding what to make because I'm always told what to make, if that makes sense. So yeah, by far, like everything that Anthony Bourdain has ever written about as far as the kitchens is 100% true. It's a tough field. It's not for the faint at heart. It's not for, when in my come up, it was mostly male dominated. So you have to be, it's not all
Very
PC.
strong,
It
very
never
strong.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not PC. It never was. Now
Right.
there's a movement, and it's a good movement. It definitely is. It would have saved me a lot of, not necessarily
Yeah.
issues, because I don't want to sound like woe is me, but it's a kinder, gentler world now.
Then it
But
was in the like early 2000s and 90s and 80s.
exactly, because you needed to be that badass bitch because some guy was gonna probably come and try and make you cry.
I
Because
get it.
that's what they did for fun. So again, that also conditioned me to be like, I'm real quick with the comebacks, and I can argue with the best of them. And I can also, like, is that a great quality? Not in everyday life, but for what I do, it is.
Right.
I kind of think we come by that, honestly.
What'd she say?
She thinks y'all come by to that, honestly, she says.
Well, yeah, for sure. But we're restaurant family. So
Right.
it's like, it's probably nothing. It was nothing for us to hear colorful language and use colorful language because we grew up around it, as
Right.
opposed to other people who didn't necessarily. You can't answer the phone the same way you would. You can't answer the phone at an office the same way that you would talk to someone in a kitchen. You just can't. You'd get fired.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I know that. As a manager, I know that like there's a way you can talk and there's a way you want to talk, but you know you have
Right.
to be on your
Right.
cues. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. And
Yep.
even like
Yeah,
now that I'm out in front of people, I've noticed that I might have been in the back of the kitchen a little too long now, because I can't hide my face. Because for so long I would be able to be like back in the kitchen, like making fun of people basically, but I can't do that because I'm staring at them now. So
Right.
now I kind of have to be like, sure, anything else? What else can I get for you? Oh,
Mm.
you're so funny, kind
Oh,
of
I
thing.
get it. I totally get it. But you know, the next episode we're gonna have to do is like a cooking, like something quick, easy. I got a little video package I'm gonna put up, so it'll go into this video.
Okay.
Yep. So we'll be planning that here soon. I ain't gonna take your time too much longer.
You're fine.
You
It's
got
just me and the
anything?
dog now.
You and the dog. I gotta get ready for dinner and back to bed.
Ooh, you know what I made for dinner tonight? Or some badass Asian meatballs.
Oh,
I
that sounds.
took I took ground turkey. Brent doesn't know there's ground turkey in there. Ground turkey, ground pork, green onions, ginger, sesame oil, eggs, sriracha, honey, teriyaki, and breadcrumbs. They are so good. So good.
Sounds good.
So yeah, that's what we're having for dinner tonight.
We have spaghetti, so that's what I'm about to get into.
That's I had that planned for Thursday, I think. I do all my cooking on like Saturday and Sunday for the week. That's something I wanted to say when my mom was commenting on casseroles about how they're a working mother's like savior or whatever she said. But if you, the way I do it is I cook everything all on one day and then like spread it out over the week. So no one's eating casseroles.
Hey, that's a good idea.
You just have to have those 2 days free, which
Oh,
I understand.
yeah. Well, could work. Not here. It couldn't work here because the kids will be, I want this, I want that. You know how they go.
What was the name of that one British the one British chef that you used to watch? You thought he
He's
was like,
British?
yeah, I thought he was. You thought he was like so cute.
Jamie Oliver.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's got a list though.
that's okay.
I mean, if he's not talking, he's cool. But
You
no
liked
offense to
it.
anyone who has a list.
Way to
My
go.
husband has no hair, so whatever.
Who do you think cooked the very best meal that we ever had? Like, what was your like most favorite meal that we ever had growing up?
Um, well, I think one of the benefits of growing up in a family like we had is that there was always really good food. So I I would have to say like Christmas dinner at grandma's
Right.
for sure. The homemade gnocchis with the sauce. I still like I try so hard to like have that I don't know what she did. I don't know what she did and how she made it. And it was probably the most simple thing ever. But her homemade gnocchis with the red sauce, even like her homemade pastas with the red sauce, were it's a flavor that I just think back fondly and remember. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to think, and it's not like I would think.
Unless she was mad at us and then the meal went south quickly. If she was
Right.
mad, it came out in
But
her.
I can't remember her being like ever that mad at us.
You don't remember the Taco Bell?
Oh, well, she messed that food up good.
She was mad. She was mad at somebody.
She was mad at somebody. I don't ever remember grandma. This is not me being like, I don't ever remember grandma being that mad at me about anything.
No, she wasn't mad at the children. She was mad at one of the adults.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
And the whole dinner was ruined. And we all snuck out to Taco Bell and we came back and she was even more pissed off at
Yeah.
us.
I would say like, even more so, I don't know, anything that Grandma Grandy made, and I don't want to say like the food from the Bizo side was bad. I am more nostalgic
Yeah.
towards the dinners that we had at Grandma and Grandpa's. And I don't know if it's because I don't know. I don't know why. I don't
Well,
know
because it was more of like, it was more geared to like an actual sit down meal, whereas the Vizos
right,
did finger food
right.
and, you know, little
But I think what happens,
I
appetizer.
don't want to say like a buffet, but
It
kind
is
of
almost like it is almost
yeah.
like a buffet.
And
But
I also
whereas Grandma
think what,
Granny's, it was sit down, here's the china, here's your napkin, put
right.
it on, sit proper, eat your food,
Mhm.
pass it around. It
And
was
I
more of
also
a
think, and this is specific, this is another reason why at the end of the day, I'm a chef, because alone, aside from cooking the food, there's emotion that goes along with eating the food. So you tie in great memories with great food. So I always want someone to come away from an experience with food that I've made for them. 9 times out of 10, when you go to a very nice restaurant, it's for a very good reason. It's an
right.
anniversary, it's a birthday. So I want people to tie that dish that they had that was so good with a memory that made them happy. And I think that's why I can't specifically remember what holiday dinner at grandma's was like the best that we ever had. It was the food and the feeling behind it. I genuinely
It was a good
miss,
time.
exactly. And I genuinely miss sitting with grandma and grandpa and all my aunts and uncles and my mom and my dad, my sisters and my cousins, and eating really good food, because it wasn't one thing that she made in specific manner
It was just a family
that
gathering.
was, yeah, I think it was the family gathering in and of itself. Now, were we bratty little teenagers? Absolutely. Were we drunk 20-year-olds? Absolutely. But her specific, like anything pasta that she would make is good. And that's what I think about.
Yeah, like I'm more of a
I miss her pasta fagioli.
like I'm more of a barbecue person than anything. Like I'd rather be on a grill, but like I'm learning more what to cook, like different meats and stuff like that. Because you can cook chicken all day,
Oh
it's
yeah.
not hard. But like getting into the lamb and everything like that, that's just like a different take, unique and everything like that. You know,
Yeah.
lamb ribs, and though I liked it, it was just too much fat.
You know, you would like that shepherd's pie though, because you take ground lamb and mix it with ground beef and then cook it with some carrots and
Eat ground
onions.
lamb.
Oh yeah. And it's cheap as hell.
Her shepherd's pie is her ground beef.
Yeah, it's cheap as hell. I'll have to make some sometime when we're allowed to like get
Ground beef
together
with
for
mashed
family
Yeah,
fun.
with
potatoes,
the mashed potatoes
green
and then
carrots.
yeah.
Yeah, see how
Yeah.
we do it is they do it with the mashed potatoes, carrots, ground beef in it, and then they put the layer of cornbread on top of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how.
So it's all the ground beef and all the goodness, and it's mashed potatoes, and then it's cornbread on top of that. And that's his stepdad.
Yeah, she's thinking.
No, I lost audio. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh.
So his stepdad takes the ground beef and puts like carrots and all that other good stuff in.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So what my stepdad does, shout out to her, he does it with mashed potatoes, peas, and then on the top of it, it's got cornbread.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what we
Well, it's
call.
mashed potatoes and then
Yeah,
cornbread.
yeah, our shepherd pie. That
Okay. Yeah, see, okay, edit this part out. I swear to you, edit this part out.
I'll try.
When I was with Brock, he was Scottish. And so he taught me how to make it. And what you do is you take ground lamb and ground beef, put carrots, onions, and peas in there. And then you season it with Worcestershire sauce and a little bit of either red wine or Guinness beer. Let
Mm,
that simmer down, like let that cook down, all that liquid cook down in the meat, and then you make like a real stiff mashed potato. So then you take your baking dish, oil it up, put your meat down, and then put real stiff mashed potatoes on as like the crust, and then throw it in the oven and bake it until the mashed potatoes are like kind of brown on top. That's what we ate on that like 3 times last week.
hey, that's not bad. I made a before we get off, I made a wink attack sandwich.
What
And
is that?
it had French dressing on it, lettuce, banana peppers, roast beef, turkey,
Barbecue turkey
some
breast that you got.
barbecue turkey. I put it in the oven for like maybe
And
turkey pastrami too, and I put it in the oven for like 6-7 minutes, and then that baby was bomb.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm
that
trying to.
sounds good.
Yeah, I'm trying to venture out on my cooking. But it's your boy Jay Winks. I'm with my lovely sister-in-law Gina, Chef Gina.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, we will do another cooking show here soon.
love you.
Love you too. Take
You can stay
care.
on afterwards.
All right. Say hi to the girls,
Well,
my
hold
little
on.
minis. What'd you say?
No, I stopped recording. I think I stopped recording. Hold on.
Okay.
Did I stop recording?
I know.